Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Barely Bookish podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about Black Beauty with Nova.
Hello.
Hello. We're doing something a little different today because the chapters are so short-ish that if I keep saying which chapter we're on, it's going to take up majority of this episode. So, therefore, we're just going to go through everything in chronological order. I have read chapters 1 through 24. If you want to follow along and not get spoiled, that's where you should read through. And then next week, we will finish up all of the chapters and then probably talk about the movie. Because you said the 2020 movie's trash, right? That one's garbage?
So trash.
Okay. I'm excited.
Disney was like, oh, Black Beauty? That's a popular story. Let's throw every single horse movie into this movie and call it Black Beauty. And it's like...
So, my guess, I'm going to just start off with the guess. He becomes a racehorse. Because I feel like every single movie they become a racehorse. Or he's an abused rescue horse, which she has to teach love again. Those are my two options. Oh, God!
And it's not a he, it's a she. So this it becomes majorly like Flicka.
What's Flicka?
You've never seen Flicka?
No.
It's a full black Mustang that this girl comes home from school and she's like, oh my god, look at this Mustang, she's so pretty. And they're like, oh my god, Mustangs, we need to get them off the range, they'll like hurt our quarter horses. And so she brings it in and tries to tame it.
Okay. The only horse movie I've really seen is Spirit.
There's little things in that I was like, oh my god, that's Spirit.
Oh god. Oh, and what's that one called? The one that looks like a zebra?
Racing Stripes?
Yeah! That one.
Where the zebra wants to be a racehorse.
Yeah! That one.
Oh my god.
That's my previous horse movie experience.
I have watched a lot. I will provide you with all of the this is this. So
horse girl tropes.
Yep.
Excellent. I love that. Okay, let's get into this story. So immediately I did not know this was the point of view of a horse. I probably should have guessed that based on the title alone, but nevertheless, I thought this was going to be about a girl and a horse or something, just from the cover.
Yeah, it was one of a kind when it came out because like no one had done the point of view of an animal before. Mm-hmm. So it was very like, wait, what? We're the horse?
I kind of love it. Not gonna lie.
Right?
I do think it gives you another like empathetic viewpoint that probably most people didn't have. Obviously from how much this book changed things.
Yeah, this book was major in the movement for animal cruelty laws and stuff because it really gave people the look of, oh, this is still an animal. It has feelings and such. And so it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Honestly, so we get introduced to Black Beauty. Black Beauty is like the super well-bred horse. He is never been mistreated. He's always been like well taken care of. AKA a little bit of a spoiled horse. He deserves it. All horses deserve it. I am a proponent of spoiled animals, except when they're so spoiled, they like do things out of spite. And I know you know who I'm talking about, but I will not say it on this podcast because I think animals should be well treated and well taken care of and always only know compassionate people. But there's a difference
they should
between that.
There's a difference between spoiled and spoiled brat.
Yes. My cat can get whatever she wants. She runs this world. She's a very well-behaved cat. but she also doesn't pee on my belongings because she thinks she can. So
Yeah.
that's
Harley,
the
we get
difference.
him all kinds of stuff. Like,
Mhm.
he just before this recording got a pumpkin donut because he loves them.
Mhm.
Uh, but, you know, he is trained and we keep him to those.
Moon is getting better with her paw trick. She doesn't know to give it,
Amazing.
but she does know to raise it. And honestly, I love it. It's fine. It's cute.
Amazing.
I think I'm asking a lot of her, but she's figured it out. So, but she will
Adorable.
only do it. Well, she did it the other night, but she usually only does it if she has treats in sight. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. I'll allow it, you know. Um, so then we do see a hunting scene with the horses. So the horses are hunting, well, horses and their riders are hunting this hare, and one of the guys makes a horse jump over like a fence, and the horse lands wrong. Horse breaks its neck. They have to kill the horse, and the rider dies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like one of those things I've just never understood. Maybe it's just because I am not big into hunting at all. But I've never really understood this need to chase. Doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me. I feel like it's apt for injury. I don't know why you would do it.
I mean, even as someone who hunts, this has always been like, you guys are just like yeeting your animals into who knows where.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's on the other side of things, which is a big no-no.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the amount of people that did that in this scene, and luckily only like a couple went down and one horse and one guy died.
Oh, two horses died. I wrote it down. I
Okay.
forgot who the other horse was though.
It's like they got out pretty well.
Yeah.
For the fact that they just like yeeted this fence. I think it was like down a hill or something, which is horrible anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, amazing enough that only that many were affected, but still, like, why?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't know why you would do that. Pop pop. I just
No.
I also one don't like risky things that much, and two don't like wasting, not only like mistreating animals but also wasting money. Like not only is this
Mm-hmm.
kid gonna get seriously injured, but like horses are expensive.
Yeah. And for them to, like, have to put down the horses, like, because of this, like, and then the kid dying, that's, like, that's a lot of loss in one go.
Yeah. It's like
All
if
for
someone,
a hair.
you know, and I
I
know
think that's
most
actually a quote. They're like, all for a little hair.
yeah, I know most people like say at the time they look at their horse like a car for us, and it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
if your car breaks, you're like, whatever. But like, here's my thing: I would not. It's like asking me to go out and play bumper cars with my car. Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that. That sounds like a
No.
terrible idea. Why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Same vibe. I don't get it.
That comment though, like about using the car, just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait until like the later half of this book.
Oh my god. Yeah. I've heard people compare it, but I'm like, still like that's an intelligent creature, but if you feel
Yeah.
that you need to compare that way,
A
go
car
off, I
also
guess.
has no feelings, no thoughts. It is just
Yeah.
a hunk of metal.
Yeah.
A horse is a living, breathing thing.
Literally.
It has its own thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. I've never really understood that, like, where people try and distill things down based on how we treat things now, you know, where they're like, oh, like that's just one example, but I feel like that happens a lot with
Mm-hmm.
people in the past where they're like, oh, it's fine because it's like how we do this. I'm like, is that I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know about that, to be honest with you. I don't think it's that way, but okay.
It's like it explains it, but it's like it doesn't mean it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
Exactly.
horses were the main form of transportation, But that doesn't mean you get to treat them like garbage.
Literally.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. Like, if you treat things well, not only do they last and live long, healthy lives, but also they will give you a lot less shit for it. So,
Yeah. I think there's a couple chapters in this section we're going over where something happens and Beauty, like, knows what's happening. And because he's with such good people, he's, like, gives his all.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because he's like, oh crap. Let's go. Let's do this. I gotta help. I gotta do what I can. And it's like, you know, you give everything to your animal, they're gonna give you everything right back.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Like, having pets for so long, your pets know when things are up.
Yeah.
And they will react differently because of that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And if you've ever had a pet, you know that too. But it's like your pet has to be so in tuned with you for that to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's built over like years of being homies. I don't know how to
It's
describe
built
it any
on
other way.
trust. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So,
but yeah. Um, so we get to learn a little bit about breaking in, quote unquote, which I did not like that term at all.
yeah, that is not a fun term.
Yeah.
Oh god, what do they use now? A lot of people don't use breaking a horse.
Yeah, 'cause it sounds
I
like
can't think of what people use now. It's more softer.
Yeah.
But I can't think of what it is.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I'll start there.
Mm-hmm.
But like seeing Beauty trying so hard to be a good horse and like being put through all these scenarios. So like the first thing they do is they like put him out into a field so he can get used to train sounds. But like he has all this place to run, it's fine. They also put like I guess it's called like a bridle in his mouth. Is that what it's called?
Oh, the bit in his mouth? Yeah.
The bit, yeah. What's a bridle? Isn't that something? Is that not something?
The bridle is what goes on their head. The bit is the
Oh.
piece that goes in their mouth.
Yeah.
So the
You know,
bridle
like
is what
that.
you use like when you
Okay.
ride.
Yeah.
It like the reins are attached to it, and so yeah, the bit goes into their mouth.
Yeah. No. I wouldn't be happy. He was not happy about it. Not a fan. But yeah, so they're trying to like get him used to all this stuff. They seem to do a decent job about it, I guess. Nothing like too strenuous.
Yeah,
like,
his I think his name is Farmer Gray, the guy who raises him, is very good at taking it slow and you know, letting him get used to things before pushing him onto others. Whereas some people will literally just like, here's your saddle, here's your bridle, like, come on, let's go. We're doing it now, and we're gonna just like ride you until you drop to get used to this. And it's like, no.
Awful.
Let them learn. It is scary.
Yeah.
It is new. Let them take their time and they'll do a lot better. Which that's what Farmer Gray was excellent with.
Yeah. I've like multiple times gotten thrown on horse TikTok, which is fun. So sometimes I get like horse drama. So like one of the times it was like talking about how like horse kids keep showing up and claiming the horse is theirs because they ride it all the time when like this person like owns the horse and is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just sometimes I like watching horse drama. Like I like watching all drama because I know nothing and I'm not involved in any way, but it's fun to experience.
The sad thing about the horse community, especially on TikTok, is it is very drama filled and kind of toxic.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are like, we're not doing that shit here on our page. And like everyone is welcome. Because you'll get people who are like, if you can't afford the fancy clothes, you don't deserve to ride. And it's like,
bro,
hi, I am paying for a horse.
Yeah.
I'm not affording the expensive clothes. Like,
horses
or like if you don't own your own horse, you're not a real horse person. And it's like, no. It is sadly one of like the best and worst communities at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
well, you have to think it's probably full of a lot of like spoiled rich kids because horses are freaking expensive.
oh yeah, you do get the A-lister kind of group that is like, oh, my daddy just bought me $1 million horse to go jumping with. I'm gonna win. Oh, your $200 one from auction? Well, that one's crappy. And it's like, they're both horses.
Yeah.
The $200 one, you give it love and treat it well, it's going to do a lot more than that $1 million one that's just sitting in the box because you don't want anything to do with it besides ride it.
Yeah.
I
know. I can't imagine having a horse. Like, I also have no interest really in a horse, but like just being near a horse, they are so freaking huge.
They are. They are like big dogs, though.
Yeah.
Like, they have very similar, like, obviously their own animal, but like, that's how I'd explain it to people who don't really know horses is they're a lot like dogs. Just very big puppy dogs. They're very, you have a good bond with them and they're content with following you around whatever you're doing. They want to be right a part of it. They're like, hey, what are you doing? Can I see that? What are you doing? So
Mood.
if I wasn't allergic, I would love horses.
You're also allergic to horses? Oh my god.
The good thing is that horses, obviously, you know, you have a barn for, so like if I did get them, like they have their own place, so like I have that separation of if I go in my own house, like it wouldn't be like a cat where the cat lives in the house.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, my life sucks. It's fine.
You're gonna have to get like those allergy shots.
Right?
You know? They're talking about Daniel's niece getting them because she's obsessed with Moon. And she's very allergic even to Moon.
Yeah.
So like she breaks out really bad with it all the time. So we're like, what do you want to do? And Miss Sal's like, she's gonna get allergy shots. We can't do this anymore. She goes, Moon's an important member of this family.
Aw. Yeah, I would. Adorable. I love horses. They're so good. They're so good.
I know. I've never really been around one long enough to be like, hey, sup, dude, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, this book. So we find out that his new horse neighbor is a horse named Merrylegs. Let me just say, I love the names people give horses. They're almost as weird as the names people give cats, but like the opposite. Whereas cats, they always give them a weirdly human name. Horses, I feel like people just combine two verbs and make it into a name, and I love it every time.
I'm gonna have to send you thoroughbred names or just show horse names.
Yeah.
Because most horses, like if you have them showing or like a racehorse, they have their like name that you see at competitions and stuff, but then they have like a bar name. So one of the most famous, his name is Secretariat. That was his show name. But everyone just called him Red or Big Red. That was like what people called him. But the Secretariat is his official name.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Oh yeah, it's a big, yeah, it is a movie.
Okay.
He is like huge horse athlete, like amazing horse. Did amazing things. I mean, I say that and I immediately think like, oh, like this horse cured cancer. And I'm like, wait, no, it is not. Not what I mean by amazing things. But for quite a few races in horse racing, he still holds the records.
Wow.
And it's been decades since he's been gone, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, so He was a powerhouse.
Good
So,
boy.
oh yeah. I think he won like athlete of the year or something
Holy
over
shit.
like people 1 year.
Jesus
So,
Christ. Love
yeah.
that.
I was like, heck yes. You go, buddy.
We are also at this point introduced to Ginger. Ginger was a mistreated horse. I feel bad for our girl Ginger. Like, holy crap, she can't catch a break. Um, we do get like this whole adorable life with um, the Manley family, which last name top tier. Love that. That was funny. Um, the wife was actually the one who decided to name Black Beauty. Um,
Yeah.
because they're like, wow, this horse is so pretty. And also look at the color. There we go. Black Beauty.
Yeah. And then you learn they wanted to name him after the horse that was killed in the hunting accident because
Yeah.
and they end up being brothers. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a little awkward.
Yeah.
But
And
I
then, like,
mean, okay. Yeah, because the guy that died was actually Beauty's new owner's son.
yeah.
And it's like, wow, we've just come full circle. It's fine.
I know. It's surprising that he was involved in this hunting accident when this family takes such good care of their horses.
Yeah, and I think it states that like them and Farmer Gray, where Beauty came from, are
Yeah.
like avid in uh like horse rights in their area
Yeah.
and are like constantly like the bearing rein I think was one that they were like, no, you can't use that. Don't use that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. And I'm like, bless. Beauty has just been
Yeah.
blessed with good homes.
Literally. And then like we hear about Ginger who's just been like through it, which we'll get to in a second, but like, oh my god. And then the only thing though that Black Beauty doesn't really like is he doesn't have as much freedom as he had previously. So he's getting a bit restless because basically where he's was born, he just got free reign to just roam around and have fun. They didn't like stall them up so much, which makes sense. Like it's got to be pretty messed up. It's like imagine just having your dog in a crate 24 hours a day and bringing them
Yeah.
out for an hour. Like, yeah, of course that dog is going to be absolutely insane when you bring them
Yeah.
out of the crate. You know, like,
Yeah. I think he said at one point that they like on Sundays they get to go out and that's basically like it. Otherwise, unless they're being ridden or used, they mostly just hang out in their box all day.
which is annoying. I
Which
could
is
not.
like, why don't you just turn them out and then if you need them, go get them?
Yeah.
Like,
Like, if you leave them in the box at night and if you know at some point the next day you're going to need them, then, like, okay, wait to let them out.
yeah.
Whatever, you know? But, like, just let them free reign. What are they going to do?
Or even if you have just like a small paddock that you're just like, all right, here you go, guys. Like, have fun. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a giant field. It can just be a little like turnout, and they
Yeah.
get to go hang out throughout the day.
I know. I don't get it. I really don't. Like they could just like roam.
Right? Where I rode when I was younger, like the stalls did have doors, so like in really bad weather you could close them.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much it was just like they kept it open and the horse could go in and out as they wanted. And like they had their small little like it was like a little paddock, but then like a lot of the times they get turned out into the bigger fields as well. But they did have that place to go to be like, oh, if we want to be outside, we can be outside kind of thing, which
Yeah.
I thought was great.
Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. I mean, again, I don't know much about horses, so
I feel
can't
like
be
that,
like,
or even if you do like have them where they can't just go in and out of their stall, just to be able to throughout the day, you know, just take them out and put them somewhere.
mm-hmm.
Like let them have the day to just be out and about.
Yeah, at least like a couple hours. Like it's with people who have like active working dogs. Like if you don't take them out running or something for a few
Yeah.
hours at least, they're gonna like. I mean, most like huskies are always gonna be crazy. That's just the rule. Huskies have
Yeah.
no chill, you know. But If
It's
you bring
like,
them.
yeah, it's like border collies and stuff. Need some
Mhm.
kind of stimulation, whether it's mental or physical.
Yeah.
And if not, they just go absolutely insane.
Yeah. Like that's one thing I thought, like having a cat, okay, she's always gonna be lazy, whatever. But if I don't like actively play with her for at least an hour before bed, then she's like insane when it comes to
Yeah.
bedtime. But now that we have like this bigger place, she has a lot more places to roam, so she spends a lot of time napping. Also, a lot of time hunting lizards in the windows. So
Yeah.
she's working out more now, but like I didn't understand when we first got her why she had so many zoomies, just like sporadically. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, it's because you didn't have as much room to roam around and play, which I
Yeah.
feel guilty about. But she has that. We have corrected that issue. So
She's also a baby, so she's going to get it
yeah,
no matter what.
yeah, that's fair. But now that like she's learning tricks and stuff, she's like, okay,
Yeah,
I.
like Harley during the winter, we don't take him out hardly as much because it gets cold if
Mhm,
it's too cold. So he does a lot of mental things. We'll like put Kongs together or like stuff stuff in his bones or hide his bones.
mhm.
So he isn't running around, but he still gets that stimulation.
Yeah, I gotta get her a new cat tree though, because her old one's like trashed. And I want to get
Hmm.
her one to put in this window right here because we have like a big space between our two desks. So I'm like, maybe just a little cat tree right there would be cute, but haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go look at Chewy because Chewy's like, if you buy um a cat tree from the pet store, they're like almost $100, but if you buy them from Chewy, they're like half the price, and it's
Nice.
insane, and they're
I
like
love
better
Chewy.
quality. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like,
I would use Chewy, but the food I feed him is only at Tractor Supply. So I'm
oh
like, I don't really use it much.
yeah,
I
I
do
want
love
to.
it though.
I'm probably gonna get her food and her um, litter on reorder through Chewy because now that Daniel and I share a car, it's easier if it's just like shipped to our home instead of me always having to go out and get it. But
Oh yeah. When he was on a different food, that's what I did. But it was like twice as expensive as the one he's on now. And with Tractor Supply, literally like 2 minutes down the road.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, I think we're gonna stick to the cheaper one.
yeah, I get her Royal Canin because it's what I always gave my dog,
Yep.
and she likes it. So
Yep.
also because she's like fancy cat, she gets fancy
So
cat food.
he has 4 Health, which is like one of like basically up there with like the top dog
Mm-hmm.
food brands. But because it's only at Tractor Supply, it's like less than half the cost of most of them. And I'm
Amazing.
like,
I've never been to a
yes.
Tractor Supply. I don't think, which is
It's
weird.
there's a lot.
I'm gonna
Everyone's
Google.
always like surprised when they go there because they're like, oh, it's just like a tractor store. And it's like, yes, it has some parts for like you need to fix your tractor, but it also has dog food, cat food, um, treats and stuff for treats and toys for both, stuff for both. And then
Yeah,
they do like seasonal stuff. They have
we
hardware, car stuff,
we only have one in our
trailers.
area, and it's like 5 miles away.
Um, I'm trying to think what else. They have like farm stuff. They have all kinds of different things.
I know the
Um,
Tractor Supply where I grew up had like baby chickens.
yep, they have chicken times. Certain times a year they'll have chicks in store that you can go get.
Adorable.
And I love the fact that they do the limits on them
Mm-hmm.
because like chickens are very like they need to be with other chickens. So like
Yeah,
if you go in and they know that you don't have any or like you've never been there before, they know you don't have any, they'll only let you get like a minimum of like 6 or more, something like that. And I'm
that's
like,
good.
yes. They're awesome.
I love that.
Working there, I loved working at Tractor Supply. And their number one seller, which was not expected, is dog food.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I was
guess if you're
like,
already going there, like I'm assuming this is probably a lot of people who already have a farm probably go to
yep.
Tractor Supply. So if you're already there, it's easier to just buy your dog food there,
Yeah.
you know?
Also it's very much because I was talking to them and where a lot of stores, you know how they're like closing because people are doing a lot of online. Tractor Supplies are actually opening more because a lot of it is stuff that, like, if you need it usually that day.
Yeah.
So you want to go there. And so they're like, that's what it was like. And the one that I worked at was right down the road from a hospital. And you could always tell when the shift change happened because you'd get a ton of like nurses come in and buy like dog or cat food before going home.
Nice.
Like it was on the same road as it. So it was like excellent. And then when I worked at Barnes and Noble, I told the store manager that I had worked there, and she goes, "Oh, I love going there. I'll go there on my way home and get my dog's food." And it's like,
Adorable.
it's one of those quick and easy. It's usually there that people can just go get the food or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Love that. I mean, whatever works, right? I heard a lot of people get to the wood pellets for cat litter instead of like
yeah.
normal cat litter because it's like $4 for a giant bag of it.
Oh, yeah. They're like pretty big bags.
Yeah.
And if you buy the whole pallet, it's even cheaper.
Jeez. I haven't tried it personally just because, I don't know, no real reason. I want to make sure it absorbs smell. I don't know how it absorbs smell.
Could always try it
Yeah.
and then go from there.
I mean,
And
I
if it
guess
works,
it's like,
then
yeah, worst comes to worst, it weighs like $4.
yeah. And depending on when you get it and whatnot. And Tractor Supply is good at, like, if your bag's ripped open and part of it's gone, they'll, like, comp you. They'll, like, give you money off. One thing working there, a lot of places, if you have to make any changes, they're like, oh, you got to get a manager approval.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, basically use your own, like,
Judgment.
yeah. So if someone
That's
came
nice.
up with a bag and it was ripped and some of the food was gone, because a lot of times it's not like it ripped in transit, it's us putting it up on the shelf and it gets caught.
Mm-hmm.
So like we tape it out so it's still fresh.
Yeah.
People would come up and be like, this is ripped, and I'd be like, yep, I can give you like $5 off that. And they're like, oh, perfect. And like that's what you're allowed to do. You didn't even need like manager approval.
That's nice.
Which was, it was weird because I was always expecting to always need it, and then they're like, oh no, you're fine. Like, obviously don't give it to them for free, but you know, work with them. And I'm like,
yeah,
what? Okay.
Like, you trust your employees? Interesting.
Right?
Love that. Anyways, Black Beauty.
We're at Ginger.
Yeah, so we get to hear about Ginger. Turns out Ginger was separated from her mother literally immediately, which is not good. She was shown no love at all. Her old owner's super abusive. She ended up actually throwing a guy off of her because he kept trying to like mount her and treat her terribly. But at least like this new place she's come to, they're treating her a lot nicer, but she still like nips at them to show them who's boss. Which I don't blame her for at all.
Yeah, it's like when you're in a rough situation, now you're in this new one, like you're expecting them to be mean. And I think it mentions at one point that she's like, I bit one of the guys, and instead of coming and beating me, he came and brought me food. And I was like,
yeah.
Excuse me, what? What do you mean? And so she's like, I never nipped that guy again.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just that, you know, she was so mistreated that's the first thought of get him away from me.
Yeah. And she did keep getting shoved into those headpieces that constrict your neck and make them
the
like
bearing ream.
Yeah, sit up really straight. And she said that when that happened, like that was basically she was done. So she was like, I am gonna misbehave as much as I physically can to try and get this thing not on me, which I do not blame her for at all.
I can only imagine the pain.
Yeah.
Like, that's being like, okay, you're gonna pull this thing, but you have to be like straight as a board and you can't bend.
Yeah.
Okay, now go pull it. And I'd be like, ow.
It's like, hey, do yard work, but you gotta do it in heels.
Yeah.
and they got to be at least 6 inches, and you got to put a smile on your face the whole time. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Are you insane?
No. Or like you have to tie a rod to your back and do your daily chores with your back completely straight
Yeah.
all day. It's like, no. Ugh. Just thinking about it,
Ugh,
I'm like,
I know.
ow.
Can you imagine if someone tried to tell you that's a new fashion trend? I'd be like, you can get wrecked. I am not doing that. Are you insane?
I'd be like, cool, I don't like fashion anyway. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
like, the worst part is like, yes, they have to keep their head up, but when they're pulling uphill, if
Mhm.
you watch horses, they put their head down because they can put their weight better into it.
Mhm.
So now they can't even put their weight into it because they have to have their head up. And it's like, I'd feel like I was going to tip over backwards.
Yeah.
Like,
That makes me nauseous just thinking about it.
it's so horrid.
Yeah. We do get a little backstory on Merrylegs. He's the one that's like always been well treated and teaches little kids how to ride. But today, my favorite thing is him being like, yeah, sometimes you gotta put them in their place. And instead of like being violent about it, he just like slips them off his back.
Yeah, because he's like a little mini pony, so like they're not even far from the ground. But I
Yeah.
love that he's just like, nope, you're done.
Yeah.
Get off me.
He's like, you're
He
done.
doesn't like kick him or bite him. He's just like, and you're done.
Yeah.
Feel the ground.
But you know, it's like probably super embarrassing.
Yeah. Especially when he doesn't do it to the little girls. It's like the little boys that are visiting. And so
Mhm.
the little girls are riding him around and they're like, oh yeah, yeehaw. And then the boys are on him and he's like, no. Get off.
Yep. So we get to hear about another horse named Sir Oliver, and he has a short tail because he was abused. This is where I found out that horsetails are not just hair. I did not know that there was anything in them.
Oh yeah, there's a bone in him.
Did not know that at all. Which makes sense because, you know, their tails like flick around and fly about, but like I had no idea there was a bone in there. So was very surprised to learn that.
Yep. And Oliver's got his that was clipped.
Yeah.
They cut part of his bone off.
It's like when you see those dogs that have like the little short tails and you find out their tails are not supposed to look like that.
Australian
Always,
Shepherds.
yeah, that's always astounding to me. And you see one that actually has a long tail and you're like, whoa,
Or
what are you doing?
Doberman's ears.
Yeah.
They're not actually supposed to stick up straight. They're actually quite floppy and adorable.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the up look. And like if I ended up getting one that had it, I'd be like, okay. But I'd do like everything to get one with floppy ears.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I get if it's, you know, like bred to that point of, okay, now this animal has like a docked tail.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there's cats that are bred like that. They have like
Yeah.
little tiny nubs.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that would be fine. But you're literally going in when they're babies and taking it.
Yeah. That's just awful. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
One of the things at that Odd and Unusual Fest, there was some people who had like wet specimens, which is like a animal in a jar kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them had puppy tails. And I was like, oh, and my friends and I were talking. We're like, it's so sad, but we're like, and we got talking about it. We're like, well, I guess at least if people are chopping off the tails, at least they're doing something with them. I mean, it's weird as hell, but it's like,
yeah.
We know this person didn't go out back and chop off his puppy tails. Like,
Yeah.
he got them from probably a breeder that did it. And it's just like,
I don't like it.
I know.
Like it at all.
I I get the animals in it, like your animal passes or something, and you can just like uh preserve it
Mm-hmm.
in like the Westfest. I get that. I'm like, but why the tails?
Yeah, I don't like that. But I don't think you should like clip a puppy's tail. I don't think you should. I
No,
just
and they're like so adorable too.
yeah, I
I'm
don't get
like,
it.
ugh.
Yeah, and then we do learn about this horse having a friend that was a puppy, and all of the like little puppy tails come back bleeding because they got it clipped, and it hurts. It hurts my soul. I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like, it's so sad. And they do it when they're
Yeah.
so young that like you can't even really give them anything,
Hmm.
and they just kind of like have to like heal as they grow. And it's like, so by the time they're like 8 weeks old, they don't even remember it. But it's like, it's still so sad.
I don't like it. It makes me
I don't
sad.
either. I didn't know Australian Shepherds had tails until I saw a photo of one, and it's so cute. It's like this big bushy tail, and
Oh my
I'm like,
god.
what? I'm like, no, I want it. I want the tail.
I know. I always want the tail. Okay. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like when they're clipped. Plus,
No,
I feel little nubby tails. I'm like, ugh. What are you doing?
it's definitely weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus,
I've known people who their dogs' tails have broken, and it's actually easier to take the dog's tail because
yeah.
dogs like wagging. Depending on how bad it is, it's easier just to take the tail. But I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that is obviously,
Different.
that's like you crush your hand in a machine and they can't save your hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not, oh, this is cute, let's clip it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Very different. Now I feel like I need
Mm-hmm.
to hug my cat and kiss her little head and tell her how
Right?
much I
I
love it.
like
You get to
just looked
stay
up
with her forever. Yeah.
He's curled up and he's got his head on the pillow over there.
Yeah. If you can guess it, Moon is 100% sleeping in her cactus right now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What a good kitty.
Her cactus is so frumpy because I washed it because she had tummy issues and shit all over it. So I washed it and I didn't know it wasn't supposed to be washed. So now like the foam is like collapsing a little bit on the
Mm-hmm.
inside and it's like really frumpy. And I'm like, can we get her a new one? And Daniel's like, I don't think we can. Like he's like, I think she'd be upset if we got her a different one.
You just have to like get another one and set it next to it, and then like
Mhm.
slowly, like if she has anything in it, move things over. Or, like if there's a cushion in it, move it over,
Yeah.
and then get her used to like the new one, and to like
Yeah.
slowly acclimate her to it.
I might have to because like it's pretty frumpy. It's yeah, it's like falling apart a little bit, but it's fine.
If
Like
you
she
got like a
told
cat tree, you could like take it and like pin it in or
she
something, sew it
doesn't
into it or
like to
something.
she doesn't like to sleep in cat trees.
Oh,
Yeah, she only uses them as a perch to look out windows with.
adorable.
Yeah, she's very specific. But oh, so we do get Mary Legs basically telling Ginger not to talk bad about men, and I'm like, listen, she can talk about men however she wants. She was mistreated. It's fine.
Right? He's like, I don't like this topic. I'm gonna change it.
Yeah,
And
and then
I'm
we
like,
do. Oh, sorry.
I get it, but at the same time, buddy,
Relax.
like, listen to it.
Yeah, she can talk about however she wants. It was her
Mhm.
experiences.
Yeah,
I do love seeing the owners reprimand everybody in town for mistreating their animals,
I know. I
killing
love
it.
Squire Gordon for that. He's just
Yeah.
like, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's so high up in like ranking that they're like, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Um, so a tree falls in their path and they have to go a different way. And then they get to this hotel to stay the night. And somehow the freaking barn lights on fire because this dude smoked a pipe, I think, in hay like an idiot, as if that isn't just dry grass.
Oh, you
It,
skipped way ahead. Okay. I was like, what? I was like, I thought we were at the bridge.
oh, is that not the same thing? Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back. I thought this was
I
leading
was
to that.
so confused.
Sorry.
It's
So,
okay.
okay. All right, going back. The weather's starting to get bad. A tree falls in their path, um, and so they have to take a different way. Black Lady senses that this bridge is like hot garbage. He's like, "Yeah, no, this bridge is fucked up, buddy. We're not crossing this." And he's like putting his feet down. He's not moving. And they're like, "What is happening right now? Why are you not moving?" And so they like actually strike him, and they're like, "Come on, let's go." And he's like, "I'm not going anywhere. Absolutely not." He like takes a couple steps forward and he's like, "Nah, dog, not moving." And
Mhm.
then someone comes out and runs up to him and they're like, "Hey, stop. The bridge is broken." And then they're always like, "Oh, Black Beauty knew. Oh my god. Like he knew." Like, yeah, buddy, like he was not gonna go.
Animals have a lot of good instincts. And then
Yeah.
it's just like, sometimes you need to listen to them
Yeah.
because they can tell things that you don't. And I think people just like are like, I just want this animal to do exactly what I say all the time. And it's like, they're gonna tell you when something's wrong. Obviously they can't be like, hey, yo, something's wrong. But if you watch their body language, it'll show. Like,
Yeah, it's
in places where you can get like hurricanes or tsunamis, I think.
mhm.
If you watch your animals, like even if you have a tiny little hill in the middle of like your field, if all of your animals are suddenly on this little hill, time to
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
They're getting to as high ground as they can, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, our dog used to tell us when it would start raining because she'd like shake and then go curl up under the bed. And we're like, "Oh, it's gonna start raining." Like she was our
Yeah.
little weather channel. So far, Moon does not tell me when it rains, so I just get sadly surprised. Um, she is a fearless cat, but she does scream at me. Haven't figured out what it means yet, but it always means that she wants me to look her in the eyes.
I always try and figure out because he sometimes will do like a ruff, but half the time it's at random stuff that is like, that's your shadow, that's a fence post, that's a hydrant on the side of the road, that's
Mhm.
boots, that's the garden gnome that tipped over my guy. Like, so I always listen to him, but like half the time it's just random stuff like that, and it's like, oh my god, dude, come on, you're done. He
Right
did it to
now,
the chimney one time.
oh
It
my
was
god.
like, good lord.
We're using her travel litter box right now, and like we have a very hydrated cat, okay? So she uses the bathroom a lot. So she's in a smaller litter box because we're still moving her stuff over, and her normal litter box, which is like a multi-cat litter box,
Mhm.
is at our old apartment still. So the other day she kept calling me into the bathroom. Like she'd meow and scream. And I'm like, what is happening? And she'd be like, by her litter box. And she would just stare at me. And I'd like leave out the room and she'd be like, meow, meow. And then just like stare at me, at her litter box, and then at me. And I'm like, okay, fine. I will clean up all of your shit, even though I did it like 2 days ago. I will clean it again so that you can have a fresh litter box, you spoiled cat. So,
Amazing.
yeah, she does a lot of just screaming in the bathroom when she wants things, and then she'll just stand by them and wait. So
Mhm.
that's been her indicator. Like, she will finish her breakfast, and because we usually try and leave her bowl full at all times, she will summon me into the bathroom and like look at me standing next to her bowl as if like, "Hey, asshole, this is empty. Get it together." And
Yeah.
I've done more food for her. And she's like, okay, we're fine now. But like small inconveniences, and she will summon me to just stare whatever is going on. She's like, I need you to see this.
Mhm. If he's fussing, but not his, I need to use the bathroom fussing, because he
Mhm.
has a very specific thing he does for that. You
Mhm.
can tell him to show me, and he'll take you to what he wants.
Mhm.
And it has been like lifesaver because like if he doesn't have water, he'll go over to his bowls. If he doesn't have food and he's hungry, he'll go to his bowls. Sometimes he just wants the food that we ate for lunch and it's sitting on the stove and he'll take you to the stove and look at it. And it's like, yeah, no. But he at least shows you.
Yeah, I usually Moonal, if she actually wants something, she'll like lead me over to it. But sometimes she just wants me to come see where she is because she woke up from a nap and I wasn't in the room anymore. And she's like, where are you?
I cannot do the searching myself. You need to come to me.
So she'll like scream for me, and I'll be like, "You come here, you come here," and I'll like talk to her until she like gets to me, and then she'll like rub against me. She's like, "Hey, mom, I found you. It's you. You're alive." And I'm like, "Yeah, cat. Like you just napped for like 10 minutes, but okay. Glad we
I
could
walked
solve
out of
this."
the room once. You're
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Weird cat. Love her very much. So then we do get another chapter of a boy trying to jump a fence that's way too high for him. The horse knocks him off, as he should.
Right into thorns, which is like
Very good.
karma. And whoever's writing BD, I can't remember, is just like, no, you stay in those. I'm not helping you out.
Yeah, very good. Very
And
funny.
I'm like, bless.
So through this like time at the new house, we have gotten the stable hand being James. He takes very good care of the horses. Someone's coming to the people who own the house, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think of James? Is he good?" And they're like, "Yeah, James is the best. Why?" And someone else wants to hire James now.
I think it was like Squire's cousin or something, his wife's cousin or something.
Yeah, it's
So it's
someone
like in the same
older.
family.
Yeah.
And it's like their other groom is about to retire, so they want him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So James ends up getting hired, but they do give him a bunch of riding lessons. One of these riding lessons is a 46-mile trip where they're going to have to stay at a hotel to go visit someone. So this is a hotel that, well, first we meet their stable hand who, like, is very good at cleaning horses, but he does it really fast, which James is like, what? And the dude's like, do you know how many horses I see a day? A lot. So,
Yeah. He has gotten very good at his job.
yeah. So then we get the fire. So someone is like smoking a pipe with hay, apparently, because this guy is dumb.
Yeah.
And
Never bring a pipe or cigarettes or anything like that close to a barn. Common
especially like,
sense.
you know, barns are usually wood. And also, hay is just
Hay is
dried
very
out.
flammable.
Yeah. It's dumb. It's like, oh yeah, this place is a barren wasteland that hasn't gotten any water. What if I just like lit it on fire?
Right? Like, even like when they'd hang lanterns in it, they were so careful of like making sure no fire could get out at all.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one little spark is the end of your barn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so then this place, the stable lights up on fire. The guy that works there tries to, let everybody all the horses loose, but I guess horses have this instinct to just stay put, which sucks.
Yeah. They are
So
very flight animals when it comes to fight or flight. And obviously they don't know what's going on, so their thing is like stay there. Also, if they don't trust, there's a fire raging around them, they're panicking, they don't know where to go, so that's their instinct of just stay there. So if you're trying to pull them out,
yeah.
they're gonna be like, you're trying to pull me towards the flame, my guy.
Yeah.
No. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. So luckily James comes in and is able to get Ginger and Black Beauty out of the fire, but all of the other horses burn to death, which is really sad.
Yeah. It's because he took a shirt or something and wrapped it over their eyes.
Hmm.
So they no longer can see. So they're fully at your, like, you
Mercy.
know, yeah. Um, so that was the way to do it because now, they trust him and they can't see. So they're like, oh, okay. I guess we gotta go. And
Yeah.
horses are herd animals, and so they rely on their leader, usually a stallion,
Hmm.
to lead. And so in that
Hmm.
instance, he's kind of that leader of he blinds them and then takes them. And so they fully just go along.
Honestly, what a legend James is.
Right? Running into a burning building to get the horses.
Yeah. What a guy. It's to me this reminds me of those people that don't take their animals when they're like evacuating.
Mhm.
Like James, never. He would always take every animal because
Right?
he's a legend. I
Yes.
just can't imagine people like leaving their pet.
Yeah. I think some of them got to the point where it was like the barn full on was collapsing on them. It's
Yeah.
like you're not getting them out even if you go in at that point, which is so sad.
Yeah. And I know like in James's thing, like these other horses don't know him. They're not gonna trust him.
Yeah. I think it said a
So
couple got out. It was but the rest were there. Like a
yeah.
couple other people did basically the same thing he did. But the
Yeah.
majority I think were still. It's like
Sad. Yeah.
we're animals.
So they go to a different hotel because obviously, um, and at this new hotel, one of the stable hands had heard about the fire and says that James must treat his horses very well for them to be so trusting.
Mhm.
Which is kind of nice that this little part is put in there because for me, who doesn't know anything about horses, I did not understand why the horses were not leaving. So it's kind of
Yeah.
nice that the author put that in so people like me also know what's going on. Um, so John kind of talks a bunch about like helping the other people. And then we get to the point where James officially leaves. So then we get this scene of Black Beauty being awoken in the middle of the night and told to get ready and riding fast. So obviously, Beauty knows something's wrong, something is not going well.
Mhm.
It turns out that Mrs. Gordon is very, very ill, and the doctors have to get there really fast, otherwise, she may die. We obviously don't know what this illness is. It was probably just like something pretty common of the time, but
Yeah, I don't think it ever like really talks about it. I mean, the horse wouldn't know anyway.
yeah. I'm not. I don't feel like I have to know. So,
No,
um,
it's some. There's plenty of things that could do this to you. So
yeah. So Black Beauty sprints the entire way there, gets to the doctor. The doctor's like, "Yo, my horse cannot go. Like, I have to take your horse back." And
yeah, because he
Black
was
Beauty
out doing things all day, so his horse is like
dead. Yeah,
his horse needs the rest.
yeah. So, you know, now Beauty's got to sprint the 8 miles back, and obviously he knows something's going on, so he can't just like casually walk back. And so
Yeah,
he sprints back. By the time he gets home, he is like dead to the world, you know?
yeah,
So that kid comes out and like Joe comes out, and because he doesn't know that much about horses, he like cools him down because obviously this horse is like very, very hot.
hmm
Cools him down, and then he wants to like make sure he stays cooled down so he doesn't put a warm cloth on him or anything or dry him off, and this horse catches cold. Like Beauty catches a cold.
yeah.
And he's like
He gets
shaking.
very sick.
So Beauty super ill. At this point, when James gets or not James, who's taking care of him? John. Yeah,
John, yeah,
John. When he walks the 8 miles back home, he comes and checks on Beauty, and Beauty is like has a fever, shivering, shaking, not doing great. So James, after walking the entire way back, has to immediately like step into action, take care of Beauty, and help.
hmm
just to try and get him comfortable, dry him off. Which, like, I feel like Joe, if you don't know what you're doing, like, you should cool him off and then be like, okay, you chill out for a minute and like check on him like 20 minutes later and see if he's like, if I didn't know what I was doing, I would be like, okay, I would cool you down. 20 minutes later, I'll come back and check on you again. Make sure you're cooled off, thinking that, like, okay, like maybe this horse needs more attention or something.
Yeah.
And then, like, oh my God, he's shivering and shaking. Maybe I'll just, like, put a blanket on you now.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my reaction. And just keep checking on him until James gets home and be like, here are the things I did.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? Or John gets home.
Yeah, exactly. And like if he's sweaty, like you would think, kind of
Cool
get
him
some of that
off.
sweat off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. I would have probably taken the same action, but what I would have done differently is check in.
Yeah, exactly.
But Joe, at this point, very upset because he feels like he is killing Beauty, which he isn't. He just gave him some illness, and he thinks no one will ever forgive him.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, though, that gets resolved, and, John kind of teaches him the ways. Because, this kid had only been on duty like 1, maybe 2 days learning how to do this.
Yeah, he has not been here very long at this point, and he's 14,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So he's still like a kid trying to learn.
Yeah. So things look better though. He's learning. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then, some time passes. He's learned a lot more. He happens to see someone whipping his horses to death because they got stuck in the mud. So what does this kid do? Immediately goes to the cops. Love that. As he should. He's like, hey, I will stand trial for this as well. This is not okay.
He's such a good kid.
Yeah, what a legend.
It helps that he is under like Squire Gordon and John because like they are both so like animal rights. These horses deserve better. And so now he's getting it too. And it's like, yes, raise the next generation.
Exactly. It's very good. So, yeah, this guy's going to go to prison for like 2 to 3 months, which is not enough time, but at least it's like learn the consequences,
Yeah. And this time, anyway, like that wasn't a common thing to go to jail for. So, like,
yeah,
that was excellent. Even that he got that little bit. And now it's like, sir.
Yeah.
No. It still should be even more than it is right now, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Too slow, but keep going.
Yeah. And then so we get to a point with getting like Mrs. Gordon not doing well. They have to move to a warmer climate to see if that'll help, which is really sad. So they have to sell off everything they own, their family home, everything, just to like try to see if his wife can live. So like I don't blame him at all for doing this. He obviously has to do what's best for him and his family.
Yeah. This is one of those like it's not like, oh, we could get this other job in this other country. It's no, this may be the only thing keeping a family member alive.
Yeah.
This is something you kind of have to do at this point. And clearly they don't want to and are kind of dragging their feet a little bit, but
yeah.
And everyone's not happy.
The hard part too is they can't really move stuff over either. Like you basically can move yourself and a few precious belongings. Everything else you're gonna have to sell.
Yeah.
Which really sucks.
Yeah. I think they are almost more sad about the horses than anything because they had to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
At least Merrylegs went to the kids he was bucking off. He went to that family. So it's like, he's in good hands. Mm-hmm. And they totally agreed that they would never sell him. He'd live there until he dies. And it is just like, bless. Merrylegs is getting the best life with kids still. And just, he'll live a good little life.
Yeah, so basically, John is trying to get Ginger and Beauty to this family they think's going to take good care of him. But he's dropping him off. He's also running late for the train because he's got to catch the train to get to wherever they're moving. And he's like, hey, they are not used to the, what is it called?
The bearing
rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, they are not used to it. I do not recommend putting it on them. And they're like, well, they're going to kind of have to get used to it because the lady of the house, like, requires it. He's like, I would not recommend it. He's like, the ginger, she will fight you if you try and do that. I do not recommend doing it, but I really have to go. That's like the last piece of advice I can give. And so, he leaves. I don't necessarily blame him for not doing more. Because they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. These are the best people that he could probably find.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be great people. Like, the squire knew them and stuff, and I think the mistress knew them too, and so they were like, oh, they'll be good here. And besides the lady of the house, it sounds like the majority of them do care for the horses.
Yeah.
Like, the mister says, I remember says at one point, he was like, tells the groom, why don't you stand up to her? And the groom's like,
your wife?
I didn't realize I could.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would.
Yeah. Besides her, the groom and the guy seem to take decent care of them.
Yeah. So, yeah, we find out these people are very about fashion. At least they kind of seem to be going slowly about it. But, like, beauty is
slowly.
Yeah. Well, like, at first they do. They're,
like,
slowly trying to work beauty into it and ginger into it. But, yeah, Ginger fights. She's like, okay, if they don't do any more, I'll be fine. And the lady of the house is like, I want their heads straight up and down right now. And so they're like, well, shit, okay, I guess we will do that then. So they tighten Black Beauty first. He's upset, but he doesn't really know what to do about it. Ginger, on the other hand, though, is like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm over it. She's like, had they not gone any further, I would have been like, fine, I can deal with this. But they tightened it so she cannot move at all. And she's like, yeah, no, not handling it. She fights them. She ends up kicking Beauty. They like become a scene, an absolute scene. So
yeah,
everybody's got to be unstrapped. They had to put Ginger like away. They also had to put Beauty away because now he has to be addressed for an injury. The lady cannot go to this fancy dinner party she wanted to go to for her friend. And
good.
Like, yeah, the people in the stables are like, yeah, as she deserves, pretty much. Which, agreed. I also think she shouldn't go if you treat animals that terribly. I just watched Charlie get like super comfortable with like his arms failing. That was adorable.
Oh yeah, he's upside down at this point. You can kind of see the little back feeties here, the tummy.
Oh. So good. But yeah, as she deserves, but they have all decided Ginger will not be pulling a carriage again, so at least she'll probably be treated better.
Yeah, she becomes like a steeplechase horse. So she participates in like, it's basically like the hunt kind of, but it's on a course and you have jumps and they like, it's like a horse race but with jumps is basically what it is. So that's what she's gonna be, which I feel like it's what I want to say is past what we've been through, so I'm like, I can't. But for her energy, it seems like a good thing. Like, her spirit and stuff, that feels like it would be a good thing for her.
Yeah. But
I didn't say the thing.
Good. We'll talk about it next week.
Yes.
But then we are introduced to Lady Anne. Lady Anne has been riding Beauty, but her cousin has been riding this horse named Lizzie, and even Ginger's like, yeah, Lizzie's a very nervous horse. Like, do not recommend. So all this
If
happens.
Ginger is like that, it's
Yeah.
bad. When
Yeah.
Ginger is normally the one that's the one acting out,
Uh-huh.
she's mostly out of rage though. But like, if she's like,
Yeah.
this horse has got some issues,
Yeah.
that it's something.
Yeah. So, Beauty and Lizzie with Lady Anne and her cousin are going out riding. The cousin's like, I would not recommend you mount Lizzie. And she's like, if you can ride Lizzie, I can ride Lizzie. Which I'm like, oh, yeah, I girl power, love that. But you are riding side saddle.
Yeah, for one, that's like, kudos to anyone who can ride side saddle, because that is like
Couldn't be me.
terrifying. I prefer to have both legs on either side of the horse. I don't care if I'm bareback or in a saddle, but there's a leg on either side.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Side saddle, you're both on one side. You're just gonna like yeet off.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like
Kudos to anyone who can do it, because y'all are awesome. But I'm like, and she's used to Beauty, who is very obviously desensitized, gentle, and he knows, he's like, I'm not going to do anything to hurt this person.
Yeah.
And he is very aware of the rider on his back, whether like, if they're more experienced, he knows he can have a little more yeehaw in him. Yeah. And if it's someone like Lady Anne, he's like, okay, I have to be a good little pony, do whatever she asks. I need to be very careful because, like, this is very precious lady. Mm-hmm. She knows like nothing about riding. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, he's one that you'd put your kid on, basically. Yeah. Because he's so just like, yes, I must protect this little rider.
Like, we'll have a fun little time, a fun little journey. Yeah. We'll go places. It'll be great.
Like, and then Lizzie's... Yeah, Lizzie's just like... Psycho. I was just gonna say, like, when they were... Squire Gordon, he always carried the lady of the house. And because he was just so, like, gentle. He's one that you go to and you can trust to put anyone on this horse and it will be fine.
Isn't Squire Gordon the owner? Did you mean Merrylegs?
No, I mean, like, Squire Gordon's wife would ride Beauty.
Oh, okay.
The kids would ride, like, one would ride Merrylegs and one would ride, I think it was Sir Oliver, I think it said. And he'd ride Ginger because he's obviously most experienced rider. Mm-hmm. But he'd put the wife on Beauty because he's like, I know I can trust her on this horse. Yeah. Like, this horse isn't going to do anything to anybody. Yeah.
For sure. But, yeah, so while they're out in the town, Lizzie's just hanging out with Beauty as, the cousin gets off and delivers a package. And some guy's carriage is going like crazy because he keeps like whipping his horse, and his horse accidentally like touches Lizzie. I don't think he even like does anything to hurt her, but I think he like brushes past her and it freaks her out. Yeah. And so she sprints for 2 miles. 2 miles. That is an overreaction if I've ever heard one. 2 miles. So she sprints out of town through like random places and then jumps over a hurdle and drops Lady Anne on the ground and keeps going. Mm-hmm. Like, how long are you gonna run for, buddy? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's why I said horses are flighty. Yeah. And also, like, when they're already scared, like, all it would take is, like, Lady Anne's dress hitting her weird to be like, oh, God, here we go again. Yeah. But I love that Beauty, as soon as Lizzie took off, was like, hey, dude, you gotta come back out. He's neighing for the guy inside. Yeah. Like, hey, wait a minute.
He's like, sir, let's go. We got problems.
We have an issue here. We gotta go. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, and Beauty, like, takes off and is chasing behind her. Oh my god. And then, we find out at the end, Lady Anne is not dead. She is quite injured, but not dead, which is good.
Yeah, falling off a horse can be very detrimental. Yeah. Especially if you land wrong. Mm-hmm. One thing when I was riding, one of the first things I learned after like some of the basics was if you're falling off, try and turn your butt and your back to the ground. Because if you try and reach out with an arm or a leg, you can break them.
That makes sense.
And then obviously you want to keep your head up as much as you can because you're kind of getting yeeted off. Yeah. Especially if it like stops and you go over its head. Your head's obviously, you're going head first. So helmets are very good. I won't judge anyone who doesn't wear a helmet, but please wear a helmet when you're riding.
Listen, I judge.
Please protect your noggin.
I have a like skiing helmet for when I go on my scooter because it can go like 30 miles an hour. I think it can honestly go more, but yeah, we do not mess around. We always wear helmets, and people are like, "Oh, you look silly," and I'm like, "I don't care." Like, you think I care? No. Yeah. The answer is no. I do not care.
Full on, always wear a helmet when riding. I think I've only not worn one a couple times, but I was just like riding the pony around like bareback or something and like just walking. But even then, there's always that chance. But like even nowadays, they're making helmets that look like other hats. So you can have it and it looks like you're just wearing like a cowboy hat or like just a regular hat.
Yeah.
So like wear your helmet, please, people. We want you to live.
Yeah, my helmet has like Bluetooth music into it. So
yeah. Like, I can, like take helmets aren't fun, but it keeps you safe no matter what you're doing, whether you're scootering or skateboarding, riding. Like when we go snowmobiling, helmet.
Yes. Like literally.
Friends, helmets save lives. Exactly. Please. But yeah, it's definitely good that she did not die because that was a fall and a half that she did. Especially getting thrown off over a jump like that. Ma'am, you should be dead, but bless that you're not.
Yeah, so very happy that she's fine. Everything's fine. But that is all we have for this week. Nova, where can the people of the internet find you and your stuff?
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Novosaurus Rex with 2 X's. I have a link tree that pretty much links everything together. But yeah.
Yeah. But we will catch you all in the next episode. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.